Welcome back to another episode. Week 17, Cowboys. Not not a good week. For this was a 4:25 game, but not a good week at the 1 o'clock slates. In the other games that could have potentially changed playoff seedings, and then obviously the Cowboys game was not a good game. So just really just not a good week in general for multiple reasons. I'll start just with the 1 o'clock games at first because again those happened before this game and they could have really impacted the playoff seedings. You had the Bucs going against the Jets. And you had the Rams going against the Ravens, and going into this week, it was Cowboys 2 seed, Bucs 3 seed, Rams 4 seed. So as long as the Cowboys won or one of those teams lost, for sure the Bucs if they would have lost because they'd beat us head to head. We even if we had lost and the Bucs lost, we could have still had a potential for the 2 seed and even the 3 seed. So it could have been different. But with the Bucs game, they're down 2 touchdowns to the Jets. I mean, I couldn't have expected that at all. I tried to have confidence in the Jets to win that game, but you just knew it wasn't going to happen. And they had a chance to rather milk clock or even get a first down. They went for it on fourth down at the 7 yard line of Tampa Bay. I don't mind going for it because if you get the first down, the game's over because they were winning, and I forget exactly how much time was left, but I think it was under 2 minutes, or right around the 2 minute mark. So the game's over. You can milk the clock even if they stop you again with timeouts that they have or whatever. You kick a field goal. It's a 2 possession game. So I don't mind going for it, but the play that they had for it was a terrible play call. It was 4th and 2, a full 2 yards, and they did a QB sneak. That's just not the play call. I mean, if you got to do, you got to try and do something. I mean, if a QB sneak from 2 yards, even from 1 yard away, that's still tough. Obviously, from 2 yards away, it's almost impossible. So, it's just a terrible play call. And then Brady does what Brady does, and leads them down the field for a touchdown. And then they take the lead. So that was unfortunate. That would have just been a huge win, by the Jets and obviously for the Cowboys because the Bucs would have lost the game that they shouldn't have lost because it's you're playing the Jets. I mean, it just should be an automatic win, but so that doesn't go in our favor. And then the Rams, they're playing awful against the Ravens. Stafford, he threw one pick, I believe. I don't think he threw two. I think he threw one. He threw 2 picks, yeah, actually. They had nothing going. In the Ravens, I mean, again, they were 8-3. They're 8-9 now. They've had so many injuries. Lamar didn't play again. They've had so many things go wrong for that team. So for them to be winning this game and in this game and making plays, it was for sure. I could have expected to see the Ravens beat the Rams and the Jets beat the Bucs, but they both came down right to the wire. The Rams, they get a touchdown with 57 seconds left to take the lead. It just super unfortunate. It could have been a huge win again for the Ravens and could have helped us because again, even if we lost, we still would have had the same record as the Rams, and we would have been ahead to them head to head. So we would have been the 3 seed. So even if we lost, Rams lost, we're both 11-5, because we have the better in conference record. Then we'd be the 3 seed, not the 4 seed. So it could have been huge, but it didn't happen. And again, we're the 4 seed right now. I haven't even gotten into our game yet. So again, both those things. I mean, considering the fact that they didn't go our way, probably was maybe a telltale sign of what was to come. In the 4 o'clock window when our game started, that maybe things just weren't going to go our way this week. And yeah, I mean that's basically what happened. Honestly, in the Cowboys game, things just didn't go the Cowboys' way. Coming off the huge win from last week, again against a bad team in Washington. They lost again this week, but just to put up that performance, you're at home again. To have all that momentum and all the good confidence and everything like that going your way against a team that's been really struggling. They've lost 3 in a row. They're 3-5 in their last 8 games. So clearly they're a team that's not doing well right now. They have to come to you. Again, you have all that momentum. They need a win desperately, so maybe that fuels them. But at the same time, you also need this win desperately because of what happened in the 1 o'clock windows. But even if you're not even paying attention to that, as long as you just won this game, you're almost guaranteed to be the 2 seed. So it's just it's a game that you honestly maybe even needed more because you're both in the playoffs. The Cardinals are still fighting for their division, but right now they are a game behind the Rams, so it's going to be tough for them to win that division. I guess it's possible, but it would be tough for them to win it. So they're probably the 5 seed. which as it stands right now, we'd be playing them in the first round of the playoffs, which is that's not the matchup you wanted. You could have been playing the Niners with an injured Garoppolo or a rookie Lance, or you could have been playing Philadelphia or New Orleans. Obviously, those matchups are way more favorable than playing Arizona. So, um, again, like I said, I haven't even gotten to the game yet. And if you look at the stats wise, it really doesn't seem that bad, in terms of Dak's performance in this one. But it wasn't a good performance. Again, he was 24 for 38 for 226 yards and 3 touchdowns. I mean, probably take that any single day of the week. And honestly, if he puts up a stat line like that, you're probably winning every single game that he has a stat line like that. But if you watch that game, he was really off. He was really bad. An early sign of that, in my opinion, from again watching him the last 6 years. It's crazy. It's been that long, but when he tries to do too much at the line with too much communication, dialogue, changing plays, killing plays, calling audibles, trying to read the defense too much, that seems to be when things don't go right. He seems to try and do too much, trying to overcompensate a little bit, and take the game into his own hands. And that seems like throws were off, plays were off. When he changed to an audible or killed the play, things just weren't in rhythm or flow. So again, that's just something I see. I mean, maybe that's not even close to what was happening, but I mean, that's something I see. You saw from right at the start of the game, probably the first full half. Almost every single play call, he was killing it. He was talking to the line, changing plays. I mean, that's just not. I don't know if it's not having trust in your offensive plays that are being called, or again, you have to read the defense, obviously. But do you have to change the play every single time? I feel like that's a little crazy. I feel like if that was the case, then defenses would do that every single play, and that's you don't see that every single game or every single play. So maybe a couple times a game, obviously they disguise the coverage and you read it, or use your snap count and you can see what they're bringing, obviously. But basically, as soon as they got out of the huddle, he was changing the plays. So I just didn't. Usually, when that happens with him, bad things tend to happen. If it's like Rodgers or Brady or someone, I feel like I'd have more confidence in them. Obviously, they've seen almost every single defense possible, but I would definitely trust them more in an audible situation than Dak. And again, even though he's been in the league 6 years, he hasn't been great with that. And there were some comments after the game from the Cardinals players saying like, yeah, like if we disguise our defense, he can't really he has trouble he's trouble reading it and trouble adjusting to it, which like I kind of just said, like it seems to be true because it has happened in the past. So far this year, I can't really remember a time like this. At least maybe most of the game, maybe for like some of the game, like I said, that obviously happens. In every single NFL game, you have to change the play at some point. But basically from the start of the game, basically the whole first half and even a little bit of the third quarter, to be honest, when we started scoring points in the fourth quarter, we were just going down the field. Like we were just no huddling, going down the field, not changing plays, just going with the play, making plays. So, like I said, I think that was a big part early on that led us to being in such an early hole as the game got towards the later stages of it, where that's when like then you have to score as many points as possible, but then time's gonna kill you because if you run out of time, there's no you don't even have the ability to come back in the game. So. Then that was a quick thing on what I saw before the game. And again, stats wise, Dak again the stats look good, but if you watch that game, you just knew he just didn't look right. And that was kind of the consensus coming out of the game was that you can kind of throw Washington to the side, and if you take up this start, the Giants start, the first Washington start, the Saints start. It just hasn't been good. So, and I would probably agree with that. He just still hasn't looked good. Again, I don't know if it's the injury. I don't know if it's just something's wrong at the offense or him. It's something, but yeah, I can almost throw the Washington game to the side as well. So, and again, that was a team backups, COVID, short week as well. They got into that hole early, so you knew the confidence was gone right away. So there's multiple factors you can put into that one too. But this one just was not a good game at all. And it really started from the beginning. We get the ball first. They deferred. It's not like we received or won the toss and then wanted the ball, which seems like we've been losing coin tosses recently. But we kind of moved down the field. We got some good yardage. 9 yards to start at 6, 4 yards, 7 yards, 7 yards again. So we're getting yards. We were definitely moving the ball at first, and it definitely seemed good. We're ready on their side of the field in only 3 minutes. But on a 3rd and 4 at their 48-yard line, we get an offensive holding, which played a huge factor in this game. Holding, penalties haven't been a huge penalty. I guess not trying to, not trying to be cliche or anything, but they haven't been a huge penalty against us the last couple of weeks, probably since the Raiders game, I would say. When obviously, I mean, we had a million, I think we had 14 penalties that game or something like that. So that was obviously crazy, but ever since then, we've definitely cut down the penalties. And even if it's not cutting them down entirely, it's just the situations that they're in. Like I said earlier in the season, it seemed like every third down, whether it was on offense or defense, it was a penalty. If we'd always have like a big gain, whether it be like a 10, 15-yard run or we get a stop on a third down in front of defense, but it's pass interference, it's offensive holding, it's hands to the face, it's illegal contact, it's something. It always seemed to be something that was stalling the drive or killing a big play that could give you momentum or confidence. In this instance, it's 3rd and 4, and we get the holding, like I said. So it just kills you. I mean, it's a 3rd and 4. It's an easy, that's a manageable third down. Obviously, that's almost 3rd and short. 3rd and short, I would say, is anything 3rd and 3 or less. I mean, that's basically 3rd and short right there. So now we're 3rd and 14. And it's just harder to pick up, and it's not even like you're in field goal range as well, so you can't try and pick up like 7 yards and then you get a closer field goal. So you definitely have to try and go for it, and it's an incomplete pass, and we had to punt. So unfortunate because we were moving the ball, pretty steady, like I said, like 7-yard, 8-yard, 9-yard gains that we were getting to start the game off. But they get it. Obviously, a big task in going against Kyler Murray. Now, before the game, James Conner was questionable to play. He didn't play. Obviously, they have no DeAndre Hopkins as well. A couple of their pass rushers were missing. A couple corners for them were missing, which I'll get into later, of how weak their secondary was and how we just didn't attack it. But they still had Kyler Murray. Obviously, the best player on their team, no matter, even if all their healthy guys are there, it's still Murray. So, they started the game off with a 24-yard run, and then the next play is a 14-yard run. So it didn't look great. But honestly, besides those two runs, on traditional run plays, the first one was an end around, so it's not a traditional run play. But on traditional run plays, they really didn't do much. I don't have the exact number because it's hard to tell which one was traditional or not. But their main running back, Edmonds, besides that 14-yard run he had on the second play, I don't even know if he had a run longer than like 10 yards until like the last few minutes of the game. So we kind of shut down the running game. Even Murray for the first 3 quarters was not really running the ball. On the last drive, and I'll get to it, he was, and that's what killed us. And that's always the worry when you play someone like him, is that he has the ability to run the ball whenever he wants. So you can call the play. He can obviously escape and make that play. So it's a huge task for a defense to go against a quarterback like that, which is why I don't want to face this team in the first round, because maybe they're definitely the best, the most talented wildcard team, but even if they weren't, and maybe you could say San Francisco is if they're healthy, but let's say they were second or third. I mean, like going against a quarterback who could do that, it's always scary because like if you have a quarterback who is just not going to run, the only time he's going to run is if there's pressure in the pocket, and even still, it's like he's not going to bust like a 40-yard run on you. Like he's just there's Brady, Rodgers. They're not going to do that. Stafford's not going to do that. So you don't have to worry about it with those guys. Obviously, they're great in the pocket, but I'd rather face a pocket passer because it just gives your rushers, they know he's going to be in the pocket. And again, if anything, he's escaping right or left. He's not, trying to, sprint for a first down like crazy, and he can make moves on you in the open field, So, and again, he's most likely sliding too. So, facing a pocket passer, even if it's Rodgers or Brady, I think is way better than facing a Murray, even like a Josh Allen as well, even like to a lower extent like Jalen Hurts, who we faced this week in the Eagles for Week 18. He's not great in the pocket, but once he escapes the pocket, and again he's most likely to do that, he's just hard to take down. Jalen Hurts is the Eagles' leading rusher for reasons because they call runs for him, but also he escapes the pocket. And same with Murray. I believe he's their leading rusher this year. I mean, he missed a couple of games, so maybe not. Technically, it's Connor at 700 yards, but Murray has, if I could pull it up, he has 400 yards on the ground. And maybe he's not even running as much this year because he did have an ankle injury. Last year, he had 800 yards in 16 games. So he clearly has the ability to run. We all know that. So it's a huge weapon to have with a quarterback like that, which is why I hate going against the Cardinals or a team that has a quarterback like that. And again, Murray's great in the pocket as well. So, but we shut down the traditional runs after that 14-yard gain on the second play. But they kind of just went down the field. They had a huge play to AJ Green to get to our 3-yard line. Diggs got beat on a double move, which you have to expect and you have to know it's going to come. But at the same time, defensively, I feel like there should be a safety over the top there. I don't exactly remember what the offensive formation was or what the scheme was. They could have schemed it so where the safety had to drop down or had to go with a guy across the middle. That's how you scheme plays. So you have one-on-one on the outside if you're going to do a double move like that. But there was no safety even close. So I'm going to assume it was the offensive scheme that got the safety down, but if it wasn't, then where's that safety? Because you do have to know that Diggs is going to go on double moves, play on those routes, try to intercept balls. So, and we're lucky it wasn't a touchdown. Murray kind of underthrew him, so it allowed Diggs to catch back up and tackle him at least, which was huge. I mean, at this point, they're at the 3-yard line. I'm thinking they're getting a touchdown 100%. You have Murray, again, you could do a read option with Murray. You could just roll him out. He can make a play anyways. I found it almost impossible for them not to get a touchdown. And on the first play, they get a 2-yard run. But then, they go incomplete pass to AJ Green. So we're 3rd and goal at the 1-yard line, still have a chance. And then they get a false start. So that's obviously a killer penalty for them on a 3rd down. Moves them back, gives us, space. And then they get an incomplete pass again. It was a penalty anyways on them, but obviously you're going to decline that when it's incomplete. So they have to settle for a field goal. I mean, who knows if they don't get that first penalty, let's say they still don't get it, so it's 4th and goal at the 1. They're most likely going for that. I mean, again, you have 4 downs to get it from the, 4 downs from inside the 3, then 3 downs from the 1-yard line. And especially a guy like Kingsbury with Murray. I can only assume they would have went for that, but obviously when you're at the 6-yard line, it's way less likely you're going to go for it. So huge stop from the defense there. Like I said, I was expecting a touchdown, 1,000%. So huge stop there, and again, early on, that looked like that could have been a huge stop. Again, it went from 7 points to 3 points. But we get the ball back from that. Again, moving the ball down the field, like it definitely didn't seem like this. Now I'm kind of looking back at it, but we were moving the ball down the field, but it just didn't seem like it was totally in the offense and totally pushing the ball down the field and explosive. 14-yard gain, 11-yard gain, 9-yard gain, like that's moving the ball down the field. But we get to a 3rd and 1. We try this play with Zeke, like a fullback dive. He gets stopped. We're 4th and 2 at their 40-yard line. We go for it, get it, 14-yard pass. Don't really do anything. Get all the way to their 20-yard line though. 3rd and 4, and we get a false start again. 3rd down penalty. Go from a 3rd and 4 to a 3rd and 9. Go from basically 3rd and short to now 3rd and long. Just kills it. Now try to get 9 yards. Obviously, just way harder than trying to get 4 yards. There's so many different plays you can call it from 3rd and 4 compared to 3rd and 9, where it's a guaranteed pass and you can't really trick them. Well, 3rd and 4 you could do you could run it, you could pass it, you could do try and trick the offense or trick the defense with like a play action or a bootleg or something. So. We get an incomplete pass on 3rd and 9. So that leads to a 43-yard field goal, which we miss. Again, that could have been, even if we don't get 3rd and 4, it's a 38-yard field goal. That's more, you would like to think that's more, consistent with being made than compared to a 4. Even though 43 should be made almost every single time, obviously a 38-yard field goal is easier, but we missed that. So that's 3 points taken off the board right there, where one, you should just make the 43-yard field goal anyways, but it could have been a 38-yard field goal. It could have even been a 1st down. Who knows? It was 3rd and 4. So that's a huge 3 points. And honestly, when we missed that, I could already feel bad things were going to happen. It just didn't feel like you missed. That's a huge field goal. And again, I haven't even said the final score yet, but it was 25-22. Now, obviously, look, a field goal could change the game. Who knows what happens? But you lose by 3 points and you left 3 points on the board. So, again, that's usually what happens. You don't really think of a first quarter, second quarter field goal miss as coming back to haunt you later on, but it almost always does. Usually think the ones in the 4th quarter that kill you, but it's really the ones in the first half because those are just points on the board that you're just leaving there. And again, especially when you don't get the ball to start the second half, you need every single possession that you have in the first half to score. So, huge miss there. They get the ball back. They don't really do anything. They just punt. So good stop from the defense. Defense played well. I can't be mad at the defense. The only thing I can be mad about them is the last drive. where the Cardinals had the ball I think it was the last 4 minutes and 40 seconds, and we couldn't get them off the field. But other than that, they played great, and we didn't have any turnovers or takeaways, and we only had one sack. So to think that we only had one sack and zero takeaways, which is obviously what we've been doing all season. That's why our defense is leader in takeaways for the season. Sacks, they got to be somewhere up there. And then obviously just defensive, efficiency and rating, they're, one of the top defenses. So considering the fact that we didn't really do any of the stuff we're great at, we still held them to 25 points. That's pretty impressive. So definitely give credit to the defense, for every single drive except for that last one. But again, we get the ball back after they punt. But it's 3rd and 1 at our 40-yard line. We get an 8-yard run, but we had an offensive holding. Again, just a killer penalty. That's a first down. We're basically at midfield, trying to get those 3 points back. Obviously, try to get a touchdown as well. Now you're 3rd and 11, and Dak got sacked for a 1-yard loss, but it just kills the drive. I mean, that's a first down. It's not even like it was like an incomplete pass where we got stuffed at the line and it was holding. We got the first down, and then you get a holding. So that's 3 drives with 3 penalties that just kill you on 3rd down. So just stuff that wasn't happening the last couple weeks was happening in this game. That's what seems to happen. It seems like we'll go a couple weeks without the bad stuff happening, and then there'll be one game where it all happens. Just like missed throws, miscommunications, drops, holdings, penalties, just everything starts to go wrong for some reason. But off that, they go down 91 yards, 15 plays to get a touchdown. So super impressive drive for them. I will say 3rd and 8 at their 11-yard line. They got a 17-yard pass. It should have been offensive holding. Murray escaped the pocket to the left, and DeMarcus Lawrence was running right after him. And the offensive tackle for sure hooked him. I don't know how the ref didn't call that, because if they call that, then obviously that play doesn't happen. They're at their 5-yard line, 6-yard line. Halfway between the goal line. It's 3rd and 13, 3rd and 14. They're not getting that first down. They're probably just running it, try to get some extra yards for the punt. That's a huge play right there. Again, the Cardinals really didn't get that many penalties called on them. We definitely got way more, but that was for sure a penalty, and they for sure missed a couple other penalties. But you can't blame it on the refs. I mean, you just can't. But that was for sure a penalty if you were to watch it back. But from that play, they just kept getting yards. They actually got to a 4th and 2. They go fake punt, which for some reason I was thinking they might fake punt. Like, I was kind of surprised they didn't have their offense on the field, to be honest. Even though they're at their own 36-yard line, I just thought they maybe would. But they go fake punt. They called a 23-yard pass, and it was also pass interference, so it was really a 38-yard play. So now they went from their 36 to our 41. Well, I guess they didn't. I guess that would make sense. But so they went all the way. I guess they actually declined the pass interference because it was a spot foul, I guess, or it was that's why it would have just been 15 yards without the catch. It wouldn't have added on to the catch, so they just count the catch for that. So they got 23 yards, but even still, even if you didn't catch it, it wouldn't pass interference. It would have been a first down. So again, another penalty that, again, if they don't catch that, which it was an insane catch, but it would have been a first down no matter what. But again, they just keep going down the field. Again, 3rd and 6. They incomplete pass, but we get pass interference on us. That's just huge. I mean, they were at our 37-yard line right there. That's what, a 54-yard field goal, 55-yard field goal. They have a good kicker in Prater. He can definitely kick that, but I mean, it's definitely not guaranteed. It's definitely probably, I don't know what the percentage would be, but maybe like he makes it maybe 60-70% of the time, somewhere around there, I would say. He's great in 50-plus yard field goals, but still, I mean, that's just like a lot to ask for. And if they were to miss that, gives you automatic great starting field position. And then, us missing a field goal would, kind of counteract with them missing that field goal. So get the penalty there, obviously, just, again, extends their drive. And then they actually get holding, but it was a no play because it counted as a holding, but it was still 2nd and goal. They got all the way down to our 6-yard line after a 20-yard pass to AJ Green, who, again, he seemed to have a big day for some reason. But they get a 10-yard pass, and then they get a 5-yard pass. So they're 4th and goal at the 1-yard line. Um, and this is where it was a great play from Malik Hooker, but it still turned out to be a touchdown. They go, jumbo package, and they fake the run to the right. Murray rolls out left, and it looked like he had a wide open end zone. Like, I thought he was just gonna walk right in and be like, we tried to make all these stops and try and do something defensively to hold them to three, or I mean, at this point it's 4th and goal, so you're just holding them to 0. And it looked like he had a wide open end zone just to walk right in. But Malik Hooker reads it, and he surprisingly got out there really fast. Like, Murray was still sprinting. It's not like Murray was jogging or anything. He was sprinting. Malik Hooker meets him, but Murray does this like sidearm throw, which somehow didn't get tipped. I don't know how. And they had a tight end just in case. I guess I don't know if the tight end did this or if this was the play call, but or part of the play call. But the tight end leaked out left also, and Murray just somehow fit it in that window, and the guy caught it. It was super unfortunate because, like I said, it looked like it was a guaranteed touchdown, and then it looked like he was going to get stopped if he tried to run. Because if he tried to run that, he wouldn't have got by him. I mean, maybe he could have made a miss, but he was like right there. I don't know if he would have made a miss. For sure, if he cut back inside, he would have got tackled. Because the other guys on the Cowboys were coming, but I don't think he would have made it if he tried to run it, and he somehow got that pass off. So again, they get a touchdown there. So they go up 10-0. So we obviously have to respond, and we do. We do come down and get a touchdown. 6 yards, 9 yards, 7 yards, 3 yards. 1st and 10, we get a 3-yard gain, but it's an offensive holding. Have to move back 7 yards, 11 yards. The 2-minute warning. They get called for pass interference, so that obviously helps. Then they batted the ball down, which I just have to mention. They batted about 4 or 5 balls down, which is crazy. Dak's like 6'3", I want to say he is. And Kyler Murray's like 5'10", 5'11", and I don't even know if he had a ball batted down. So I don't know how that makes sense. I would assume that's just on Dak because he's just staring at his receiver. So if you're a defensive lineman and you're not going to be able to get to him, you just read his eyes and then try and block the ball. But like, if you have 4 or 5 batted balls, that's just a wasted possession because you don't even know what could have happened. It's not like you got tipped, the receiver, got tipped at, the receiver's hands or whatever by the DB. We don't even know what could have happened. But so that happens. That gets, batted down. So wasted possession there. They get another pass interference. That was definitely questionable. It probably wasn't. So it probably should have been like 3rd and 10, but we got lucky with that one. Get a couple more yards, and then we get offsides on them. So we're 3rd and 5 at their 21-yard line with like a minute and a half left. And we get the 21-yard touchdown pass to Michael Gallup, which was big, but at the same time, he tore his ACL on that play, which, obviously that means he's out for the year. So, huge play, but also devastating play because we lose him. Even though I saw like the stats and stuff that ever since he's come back, the offense hasn't been as good. I don't really care about that, compared to when he wasn't playing early in the season when they were amazing without him. He makes the offense better. Lamb could play in the slot where he's a better receiver than he is on the outside. And Gallup's just, again, this was a 50-50 ball. That's exactly what he does. He's great on the sideline, great in big plays, and great in 50-50 balls and in the red zone. So to lose that, we'll see. I mean, again, we didn't have him for the first, 7-8 weeks. And we were great, but I don't think that him coming back was the reason our offense got worse. I don't think that at all. I think it was mostly Dak, honestly, and maybe just the offensive play calling too. But yeah, he's obviously out this year. We'll see what he is for next year. He's supposed to be a free agent this year, so I mean, maybe it helps in terms of us being able to re-sign him on like a 1-year deal or something, to like kind of like a minimum deal or whatever, like a prove it kind of thing. Because he was probably in line to get a pretty good free agent contract, even with them missing a couple weeks this season. He is a pretty good receiver. Now a team would probably overpay for him. And again, if he was just if he was healthy and going to free agency, we for sure would have lost him, and we still may lose him. I mean, I don't know, but. We'll see what happens for next year. But again, he's gone for this year, so Cedric Wilson's now going to be in the slot. And Lamb's going to be on the outside, which, like I said, we'll see how that works. I don't like him on the outside. I don't think he would have to practice more on the outside. Like, I just don't think he's a good outside receiver. I think he's a really good slot receiver, but I think he's like an okay outside receiver. He's just not like, he's not physical enough, and he's fast, but he's not fast enough. He's very quick. He's just not fast though. So he's gonna have to get better. And again, that's something like he's gonna have to get better for the offseason for next year. He didn't have it again. His stats may look good this year, but he really didn't have that good of a year. Maybe that changes in the playoffs or something. But he's gonna have to improve a lot going into next year. But again, a huge loss, losing Gallup there. But he gets us a touchdown. But then they with again like a minute and a half, minute 20 seconds left. They come down the field and get a field goal. It was a 53-yard field goal. So like I said, Prater can make those field goals easily. And one thing that helped them was, we get a 3rd and 5 at our 43-yard line. So a stop there. They're not kicking a field goal. We get offside, so now it's 3rd and 1. Way easier to get the first down, and then that leads them to getting a field goal. So again, just a penalty that leads to 3 points. If that penalty doesn't happen, maybe they don't get that 3rd down. Maybe it's 4th and 1, 4th and 2. Are they going to go for it? Are they going to kick it? Are they going to punt? So just so many decisions that possibly could have been made that didn't have to be made because of the offsides right there that basically gifted them a first down, and then which in turn led to them getting a field goal. So we go into the half 13-7. They get the ball starting the second half, like I said, and they go down the field and get a touchdown. They have a 43-yard big pass to Christian Kirk. There was a couple times they got big passes. Then again, 3rd and 11, another penalty on us. It was only an offside, so it's not an automatic first down. But again, it just makes it an easier first down. And on that play, they get a 19-yard touchdown pass. So again, like if it was 3rd and 11, like are they trying to do that play on 3rd and 11? Maybe, but again, maybe not because you're maybe just trying to get yards at that point. They're at our 24-yard line, so I don't know. It just changes the way you have to call plays and changes the way that you think offensively when you give them extra yards. Even if it's an automatic first down, you're still giving them a free 5 yards. So they get a touchdown there. They go for 2, they don't get it, so I guess that helps. But at the same time, obviously, you probably could have avoided giving up a touchdown as well. So it's 19-7. We have to punt after we get the ball. Again, 3rd and 10. 12-yard rush from Dak. I think he just escaped the pocket. We got a 12-yard rush, but it's an offensive holding. So again, just kills the drive. I mean, like you get a first down there. You go from our 34-yard line now back to our 12-yard line. I mean, it's a 22-yard technical loss because of the 10-yard penalty and then the 12-yard gain that you would have had. So 3rd and 20, obviously nothing's going to happen out of that. Punt. They get the ball. Pretty short field, to be honest. They get the ball at their 43-yard line, so basically midfield. And again, they go down the field and get a field goal. So another 3 points to add for them. Good stop on 3rd and 5. But again, on this 3rd and 5 pass, they're at our 8-yard line. It should have been a pick. Micah, he had a quiet game. Made some big tackles, but didn't really have a sack. Didn't really get he didn't get a sack. Didn't really do much on the quarterback. But on this instance, he did. Got right in Murray's face, disrupted the play. And Curse, he should have caught it. I mean, it was going to Ertz, who was double covered, and Curse just jumped in front of the route. And he just should have caught it. It would have taken 3 points off the board, given us momentum as well. That was a huge play because then again it gives them a 3 points that they probably shouldn't have had. I mean, because again, it's not like it maybe could have been picked. It should have been picked, honestly. He had it in his hands. It's not like anyone deflected it out of his hands. He kind of just couldn't secure it. So they get 3 points there. That was they only get 3 more points the rest of the game, which came off our only turnover in the game, and if it had to be against us. But off that field goal, we get the ball and we go 3 and out. I mean, just not what you're looking for. 1 yard gain, incomplete pass, and then another incomplete pass. I mean, just. Again, this is where the offense was just stalling and not doing anything. There was multiple throws that Dak just easily missed. I remember there was one. I don't exactly remember what series it was or what it was, but I know it was to Amari on the left side, and he was wide open, and Dak just overthrew him. It's not like he got tipped. There was no pressure in his face. He wasn't off balance. He just missed him, and it would have been like an 8-yard gain or something. So it might have even been this drive actually, because he did miss. I know that was in the middle of the field, but he definitely missed a couple passes to Amari. I know for sure he missed one to Schultz. That was I think in the red zone. So yeah, he was just missing throws, but they get the ball back. This is where we got our only sack of the game. It was a 14. It was 3rd and 9, so obviously a huge play there. Move it all the way. They got it at their 10-yard line, and then they got a false start. So they're punting from their 5-yard line. Couldn't get a blocked punt, but we get short field. So we have the ball at their 31-yard line. I mean, that's obviously insane. I think we even had a return. Yeah, CeeDee Lamb returned at 17 yards. So we're at their 31-yard line. Short field. Again, it's the only way we scored the touchdown, though. Was a short field. 12-yard pass. Incomplete pass. We're 3rd and 13, and Dak scrambles for 12 yards. Just gives us a chance to at least try and get the 4th down. And we do a read option. That was good to see. Dak kept it, went to the left side for 3 yards, gets the 1st down. Incomplete pass, 5-yard pass, 3rd and goal. We got a 2-yard touchdown to Cedric Wilson. So at least we got a touchdown. At least we got something. So now we're 22-13. We tried to go for 2. So this was like, or it's 22-14, but we wanted to go for 2, but then we got to delay a game. I don't know how you get a delay game on a 2-point conversion, but that was ridiculous. The fact that you couldn't, you couldn't snap the ball on a 2-point conversion, because delay game's obviously 5-yard penalty, so you're not going to go for it on the 2-point again. But even on the extra point, it turned into a 38-yard extra point, because the penalty still enforces even if you switch to kick the extra point. But we didn't make it. But that's just ridiculous. That's awful, coaching and management on that part. And maybe it was on Dak, maybe it wasn't. I don't know. But that's just unacceptable to happen. So you lose that ability to try and go for it there. And actually, one thing I didn't mention before, but when they got the field goal to kick it to 22 points, and this will come back, and again, I don't know how exactly how to feel on it later, but we did call a timeout when it was 4th and 5 at our 8-yard line. This was after the dropped, potential pick from Jaron Kearse. They brought out Matt Prater. Again, you're thinking field goal. It's 4th and 5 at the 8-yard line. You're not expecting them to go for it. Obviously, they're expecting them just to kick the field goal, take points. But they kept Murray on the field, but they had Prater out there also. And we just, our defense was confused, because I think we initially sent out the field goal team, or the special teams field goal block team, and then you see Murray still on the field. And again, it's not like it was just Murray and the rest of the special teamers. Like, their offense was on the field, but like they had Prater come on initially, then they brought the special teams off, and they brought the offense back on. So we had to call a timeout and waste our first timeout right there. That was with 4 minutes left in the third. But the one thing I'll say is that I saw this after the game, was that if the offense makes a sub, which this is true in any case, but if the offense makes a sub, the defense has to be allowed to make a sub as well. So just Prater coming on the field. I'm pretty sure the rest of the special teams came on the field, because they didn't show it on the broadcast, but I can only assume that they did, and then they quickly swapped them off. But just Prater coming on the field, that's technically a substitution. So that should enhance the defense to be allowed to sub as well. So when we had our special teamers out there, we should have been allowed to bring our defensive starters back out. And the refs just missed it. This is the way I'm interpreting it. This is the way that the rules does say it is, that you are allowed to sub when the other team subs. And the refs didn't allow us to sub. We had to call a timeout, obviously, because we had special teamers out there. There's people wide open on the bottom of the screen. Because again, people just didn't know what to do. So you had to call a timeout, obviously. But I don't blame that on the coaching or McCarthy there, because I blame it on the refs. If that's true, that they did sub, which again it seems like they did. If you bring Prater on the field, that's a sub. He wasn't on the field for 3rd and 5. Then the defense should be allowed to sub. That should be an official timeout, or they should just hold the play and let us sub. So I blame it on the officials right there. That's terrible officiating if that is true, which again I believe it is. For not letting us get a sub in there, because again we had to waste a timeout, which, as we'll see on the last drive of the game, could have been huge. It could have been huge. Now I guess I'll talk about it when we get there, but it could have been huge. But it's 22-14 after our touchdown. They get a first down. They get one first down. But we hold them on 3rd and 8. Kyler tried to scramble. Great play by Donovan Wilson to hold him. So they had to punt. So we get the ball back, and this is where the turnover happens on our part. We had 26 yards to CeeDee Lamb up the middle, so great start. We're starting at our 10-yard line, so we're already at our 36-yard line here. Minus 1 yard run, and then Dak scrambles for 4 yards. But as he's scrambling, he kind of gets someone kind of tackles him and spins him around, and as he spins him around, some guy comes in and punches the ball out before he was down. They recover. Just huge costly turnover right there. You can't blame him because it's not like he was just standing in the pocket and just lost it, or something that was way easier. He's spinning, getting tackled, and some guy comes from behind him and just punches it. You can't really do anything about that. But at the same time, it's just for the only to be one turnover in the game at this point in the game when you made a stop, you brought it back to one possession, you made a stop, you get the ball back. There's 12 minutes, there's 11 minutes left in the fourth quarter. There's still enough time to be able to go down, score. Even if you don't stop them, you could still come back down and score. So there's still a lot of time left in the game, and that happens, and they get it. They get it at our 44-yard line, so they get a short field as well now. Just a huge play right there. And again, it seemed like we got somewhat confidence back on that last drive for the touchdown. Even if it was only 31 yards or whatever, just getting a touchdown, getting on the board is confidence. So that happens. Our defense does a great job and again, it started off with a face mask on our side. So they got a free 15 yards right there. So they're already at our 28-yard line. But our defense did a great job of stopping them here. We get them to 4th and 2. They had to kick a field goal. So at least we held them to 3 points. If they get a touchdown there, the game's way over. But at least you still have a chance being down 11 with 8 minutes left. So off that, obviously you had to get a touchdown now. So we come down 8-yard play, 1-yard play, 7-yard play. On 4th and 1, we get a 7-yard play. Great play design. It was you motion someone from the right side to the left side. The guy who's covering him just gets stuck in all the traffic, and then he's wide open. That play can almost work every single time unless the communication on the defense is perfect, which, again, most of the time it isn't. That's why offenses run that play. So first one at our 41-yard line. We get a 31-yard trick play, so it was, pass it back to Cedric Wilson, who multiple times this season he's thrown passes for us, throws a pass all the way to the other side of the field to Tony Pollard. He gets 31 yards. Huge play. Again, now there's momentum and confidence back on our side. It seems like it's maybe starting to change. Even though we're still down 8 points, it seems like it's starting to flip a little bit. Now we went from our 41-yard line to their 28-yard line. Get a 16-yard pass to CeeDee Lamb, 8-yard pass to Cedric Wilson, and then we cap it off with a 4-yard touchdown pass to Amari Cooper. And we also get the 2-point conversion. So we make it a 25-22 game just like that. And there's still 4 minutes and 42 seconds left in the game. And this is where the defense lets us down in this one. The offense for the first 3 quarters was awful. But at least those last 2 drives, when they had to get a touchdown, they got a touchdown. They made the plays they had to make. But the defense just couldn't hold up their end of the bargain on the last drive. Again, 4 minutes, 42 seconds left. We still have 2 timeouts. Again, we had to use that 1 timeout, but we still have 2. The Cardinals have 2 timeouts as well. And you just try to get a stop. You got to get 1 stop and then give the ball back to our offense. If anything, tie it, and of course, you could obviously take the lead. So they go incomplete pass. Then they go 15 yards with Kyler Murray. Again, he hadn't really done anything with his legs up until this point. He goes 15 yards. Then Chase Edmonds goes 3 yards. So 2nd and 7 with 3 minutes left. You call our second timeout. Makes sense. Obviously, you get a minimal gain. So they're 2nd and 7. But then they get an 11-yard run. So obviously you have to call timeout there, but you still have the 2-minute warning. So you technically still have 2 timeouts. So you got to call it there because just too much time would go off the clock between the next play. Then who knows? Maybe they get another first down. Then it's way over. So you got to call it there for sure. So they get a 6-yard gain, so 2nd and 4. And then this is where, or wait, did I miss a play? Maybe I missed a play. 11 yards. So on so it's 2nd and 7. They had an 11-yard pass. That's when we then called our second timeout. or we called it, yeah, we called our second timeout there, and then on 1st and 10, so we have one timeout left. It's 1st and 10. They get an 11-yard run, and then we call our third timeout. So now we're out of timeouts. 2 minutes 51 seconds left in the game. Uh, Not looking great. We technically can only stop the clock once. We can still get the ball back if we get a stop, but again, they couldn't run the ball at all in the for all the way up until this point in the game, and now they're getting 15-yard gains, 11-yard gains running the ball. 1st and 10, Chase Edmonds gets a 6-yard gain, and this is the big play of the game where he fumbled. And in live action, it looked like he was down. You couldn't really tell he fumbled, honestly, but it looked like he was down anyways. But it's outside 2 minutes, so it's not automatically reviewed. But they do the thing where if the guy upstairs thinks it can be reviewed or it was a turnover or whatever, they can stop the play and review it without it being challenged or without it being under 2 minutes or anything. That didn't happen in this case. It's happened all season. It's happened multiple times in Cowboys games in the past. Didn't happen here. Again, the Cowboys didn't have a timeout to challenge it, so they couldn't because of that. That one. They've already used 2 timeouts on this drive, and then obviously the 1 timeout that was used on the Prater coming on the field, not being able to sub, having to call a timeout there. So didn't have a timeout, so we couldn't challenge it. But at the same time, I feel like the official upstairs should be able to challenge that because looking at the replays, you could for sure say he fumbled. Now, was it clear and was it super clear and obvious to the point where it's definitive? Yes, if you were to review that, you could take one look at it and know that he fumbled and he wasn't down. I think you'd for sure have to take a couple looks at it. But again, that's the point of reviewing a play, anyways. You want to look at every single angle, anyways. And I think you most likely could have come to a definitive conclusion that he did fumble before being down because it looked like he got tackled from the back, so it looked like his knee was down just because of the way he got tackled. It looked like his right knee hit the ground, but it didn't. He kind of held himself up somehow, so his knee didn't touch the ground. And then as he's being dragged down, the ball gets popped out, and I mean, from all the replays I saw, his elbow wasn't down, his knees or legs or anything still wasn't down. No part of his body was down. I didn't see any part of his body that was down when the ball came out. So I was again, in the moment, I didn't they didn't really show the replays of it because it just didn't seem like it was a fumble. Because again, it looked like he was down. It just didn't seem like he did fumble before being down. So they really weren't showing the replays in the moment. They kind of showed it a little bit later, but after seeing those replays and everything, it was for sure surprising. They didn't call down to the refs to stop the next play and then, review it officially because it just, again, seeing those replays, I'm just surprised. They've definitely stopped plays for worse, for less and challenged and then reviewed them. So surprising for sure. The clock stopped technically because he was out of he got tackled out of bounds, so it's not even like the clock was still running and you didn't have that much time. The next play, the clock was stopped. You easily could have called down to the refs and tried to review that play. So again, another part of the officiating where something that probably should have been done didn't get done, and again, that's on their end. But 2nd and 4, Kyler Murray gets 9 yards. 2-minute warning, and then obviously that's the game with them getting a first down there. So again, even though that probably should have been reviewed, and it again most likely was a fumble, and you probably could have said it was, you probably could have overturned the ruling on the field. The defense just didn't make the plays to stop the Cardinals, which that's on them. It just 11-yard gain, 6-yard gain, 9-yard gain, 15-yard gain, 11-yard gain again. You got to make those plays. You have to stop them there. It didn't even seem like we realized that Kyler Murray could keep the ball and run it. Again, he had the 15-yard gain and the 9-yard gain. Didn't even no one was even thinking about him trying to run the ball. So I don't know, but obviously then they kneel the ball to end it. So not a great game. And again, we lose. The Bucs and the Rams win, so we drop down to the 4 seed. We're basically solidified in the 4 seed. Unless the Bucs and the Rams both lose and the Cardinals lose, and we win, which we play on Saturday night against the Eagles this week, that's the only way we can move up. I don't even think it would give you the 3 seed because I guess I guess the only way is the Rams and the Cardinals both have to lose, and like the Bucs win, let's say, which it's possible. The Cardinals play the Seahawks, which they're hit or miss, but it's still Russell Wilson. And then the Rams play the Niners, so they for sure could lose both those games. It's definitely not out of the question that they could lose those games. But as it stands right now, the Rams are 12-4, we're 11-5, and the Cardinals are 11-5. So yeah, if we're tied with the Rams, we would have the same record, but we'd have a better conference record. So I guess it is possible to be the 3 seed because the Bucs would be, if the Bucs win, the Rams lose, Cardinals lose, it would be Packers 1 seed. They're already locked into the 1 seed. It'd be Bucs 2 seed, us 3 seed, Rams 4 seed, and then Cardinals 5 seed. So that would be great. That would be a great turn. Which again, that's probably the most likely one. Again, somehow the Jets almost beat the Bucs. I don't see the Bucs losing to the Panthers this week. I mean, again, maybe. I don't see it happening though, especially after last week and that almost lost. But if the Rams were to lose and the Cardinals were to lose and we were to win, then we'd be the 3 seed, which again was so much more favorable than playing the Cardinals in the first round. You're rather playing San Francisco. Well, I guess you'd have to play San Francisco because they would have won. The only way San Francisco isn't the 6 seed is if they lose, which obviously, if San Francisco loses, that means the Rams win, which means we're the 4 seed. So it's if the Rams lose, Cardinals lose, Bucs win. We are the 3 seed. If all three of those teams were to lose, then we're back to being the 2 seed, and obviously we'd have to win. But then we're back to being the 2 seed, which I mean that'd be the best case. Obviously, it's the most likely, probably not, but obviously that's the best case. You're rather playing Philadelphia or New Orleans. Well, I guess you'd be guaranteed playing Philadelphia because again, San Francisco would win their game. So. It's rather play the Cardinals in the first round, which again seems the most likely. Play San Francisco in the first round, which I would say is the second most likely scenario, and then it's the third one is play Philadelphia in the first round, which seems the least likely scenario because you need all 3 teams to lose compared to just the Rams or the Cardinals. And then obviously, if you're the 4 seed, it's you rather lost, or even if you won, all the other teams won. So. We'll see what happens. Either way, they put themselves in the situation, so you can only blame yourselves for that. All you do is beat the Cardinals, and if anything, you're probably the 2 seed, 3 seed. So you put yourselves in the situation, so that's on them. To put yourselves in a really tough matchup in a first round where, again, they were missing a lot of guys. I guess I forgot to say, but like the corners that I said they were missing, I was surprised we weren't going down the field. They were playing backups in their secondary at corner. They were playing backups, guys who hadn't even played, and we weren't even trying to test them down the field. So that was very curious as well. But again, they're going to have guys back that, let's say we play the Cardinals in the first round, they're going to have Connor back. They're going to have their pass rushers back. They're going to have corners back. So they're going to have people back when we play them the next time. And again, our team as it is I guess just minus Gallup. I guess he's the only guy that's missing. But yeah, it's going to be a question. I guess again, hopefully all 3 of those teams lose and we win. But again, if anything, the Rams and the Cardinals, at least they have the better chance of losing because they play Seattle and they play San Francisco. Like those are obviously harder teams to play than playing the Panthers. So we'll see. But again, we have to beat the Eagles anyways. Micah Parsons isn't playing in this game, so we'll see how that affects our defense. And again, it's a Saturday night game, so I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if the offense is good. It's probably going to be cold. I don't know if it's going to snow or anything, but we're not great in cold weather games. So, and again, the running game in the Cardinals game was terrible. So I don't know. Maybe it gets better. Maybe it doesn't. But yeah, well, it's good. I don't want to lose this game, obviously. Obviously, I want to win this game, but if we were to lose this game, I'd almost not have zero confidence in the playoff game, but I'd have almost zero confidence because you lose your last 2 games. You probably don't. If you lose this game, you probably don't look great. You probably didn't get beat. You probably beat yourselves, to be honest. So that'd just be a bad way to go into the playoffs. It's the worst way to go into the playoffs, losing 2 in a row and not even losing 2 tough games. You lost 2 games that you just lost yourselves. So that's not the way to go in as well. And then you have to play the Cardinals again. So yeah, it'd be really good to win this game. And again, especially without Micah playing, we'll see how the pass rush is. We'll see how we play without him. It'll be our first game without him. So I guess we'll see. But yeah, that's it for this episode. Check out this channel for other videos like this, and also Drew's videos on the Patriots, and then obviously the main channel, where the looking into the Week 18 video should be up probably in the next couple days from when you see this. Probably the next day from when you see this, maybe even the same day. So be on the look for that as well. And then, yeah, this will be the last week of the regular season, and then it'll be the playoffs. So we'll make picks on there on the main channel. However far the Cowboys go, I'll keep making videos. But yeah, thanks for watching this video, and then I'll see you next week.